Hi guys, blessed be to all my subscriber and friends, and merry meet to anyone who's just now have subscribed or has just now found my videos. Welcome. This video is going to be on kind of my interpretation of the role of prayer in Wicca and paganism. At least as it pertains to kind of, I guess, it's my view, so it's kind of pertains to my spiritual path. I think we all have learned or understand that our ancestors prayed to their gods long ago. You know, their pleas and offerings are documented in hieroglyphics that adorn the tombs of ancient pharaohs. And in the carvings, you know, in these carvings that and inscriptions that were left for us to be read by philosophers and teachers of ancient Greece and Rome. Later on, as Christianity moved in and replaced many of the old pagan cultures, Irish monks wrote down stories, illuminating their manuscripts with vivid and colorful artwork. Information about man's need to connect with the divine comes from China, India, all over the globe, really. And some prayers have survived to present day because they have been able to live on not only in written documentation but in the oral traditions of that area. You know, folk tales, songs, legends, you name it. Although we don't know how much of the existing wording is really ancient and how much was added through the ages, I think the message remains essentially the same. A prayer is our way of reaching out and saying to the gods, you know, hey, I can't do this alone. I could sure use some extra help. In many pagan traditions, both modern and ancient, it is and was customary to make an offering to a divine being. An offering is simply a gift, and it's not given as a trade-off, it's not, you know, you're not making an offering and saying, you know, yo, here's some pretty sparkly stuff, so now can you please grant me my wish? No, that's not what an offering is. Instead, an offering is a way of showing honor and respect, no matter what the answers to our prayers may ultimately be. In some forms of Wicca, the offering of time and dedication is just as important as an offering of a tangible item. Many times, offerings are left on an altar or shrine to the gods. And this is common in many faiths. You know, how many times have you driven past a Catholic church and you've seen flowers or candles left in front of the Virgin Mary? That's a shrine. That's an offering. The candles and flowers, those are the offerings to the Virgin Mary. So, you know, what's the point really? What's the point of prayer really? Some people argue that prayer is just a waste of time. I mean, I can kind of see their point. After all, if the God is so divine, don't they already know what we need and want? You know, why should we have to go to the trouble of asking? And this is my kind of rationalization of prayer, I guess. if you're married or in a relationship, boyfriends, friends, mother, whatever, any kind of relationship, there have probably been times when you've gotten frustrated with your partner or whatever the case may be because they didn't know what you wanted. And at the same time, you didn't tell them what you wanted because, after all, your partner, significant other who loves you, they should just know what you want, right? So they should automatically know what you want because they love you. Well, we all know that's not necessarily the truth. What the case? Eventually, you'll probably talk to your significant other, find out, they had no idea you were even annoyed with them because he didn't, because they didn't want to go with you to some, movie or whatever that you've been wanting to see for the past week or whatever. And then ultimately, you forgave him because once the lines of communications were opened up, it turned out that, your partner didn't hate the actors in the movie, after all, but he just wanted to go see something else, I kind of take the gods as the same way. They don't always know what we want, and sometimes what they think we want and what we think we want are two completely different things. That's why it's up to us to make it known what we want. If we want divine intervention, we need to ask. If we don't ask, the answer will always be no. So we have to ask. We have to say what we want. We have to, let it be known what we want. They can't help us if they don't know that we need help, right? So, prayers versus spells. Okay. A prayer is a request. We're asking for help. We're praying for help. We're asking for help. It's where you go directly to the universe, to the gods, Allah, Apollo, whoever you're hoping will help you out. You ask them point blank, please help me with, blank. A spell, on the other hand, is a command. It's the redirection of energy, causing a change to conform with your will. While you may ask a god or goddess for a little extra mojo in your spell work, it's not always necessary. In a spell, the power comes from within the caster. You're casting a spell. The spell happens. The result of the spell comes from what the caster puts into it, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So in a prayer, the power, spell work comes from the caster. It is what we put into it. And a prayer, the power comes from the divine. Who should we pray to? Well, you can pray to anyone you like. You can pray to a god, a goddess, the Grand High Poobah of the Toastmaster, the toaster oven. Pray to whoever you like, whatever you like. It is most likely to pray to whoever you think is most likely going to care, going to take interest in your dilemma. If you're working on a protection for your home, for example, you might want to call upon Vesta or Brigheed. Both of these are guardians of the hearth. If you're about to enter into a nasty conflict, perhaps Mars, the god of war, perhaps he'd be willing to step out to step in and have a bit of fun with that. Some people pray to simply to spirits, and then others, spirits of the earth, spirits of the sky, spirits of the sea. But in addition to praying to gods and spirits, some pagans and Wiccans pray to their ancestors, and that's perfectly fine. You may see your ancestors as a specific individual, dear Uncle David who died in Vietnam, or your, great-great-great-grandpa who settled the frontier. Or, some Wiccans and pagans see their ancestors as archetypes. Either way, it's all, I think it's really go with what works best for you and your tradition that you've chosen to walk with. Ultimately, prayer it's a really personal thing. It's all about you, your communication with the God and Goddess. It's your private conversation with them to let them know about, the fears you have, the things you need help with. It's just your little line of open communication with the Goddess. So you need to tailor it to yourself. Prayer, we all know prayer can be done aloud, silently, in a church, backyard, forest, at the kitchen table. Just pray when you need to and say what you wish to say, and you just say what you need to say, and chances are good that someone's going to be listening to you. At the same time, though, I should say, even though you're praying for something specifically, the gods are going to answer with what is best for you. You're not always going to get the exact event that you're looking for, or the exact outcome that you have in your head. It'll come out similarly, but it most likely will not come out exactly as you hoped for. And that's only because, yeah, the gods will help us with our problems, but at the same time, they're going to give us our answer, or give us the solution to our problem in a way that they feel is best for us. What we want is not always what we think we want our solution to be, to our answer to be, is not necessarily the best outcome. So I've had to learn that the hard way many times. So I'm just giving you that little caveat. So that is my little spill on prayer. It's a good thing. It can be relaxing. It's not always, our outcome is not always going to be what we want, but rest assured, the God and Goddess, they know what's best for us, and will always know what's best for us. So, good night, everybody. Blessed be.